Gaelic Dawn, in theaters now.
Something is happening in Ireland that the global media doesn't want you to see. Masked men standing before the Irish flag, armed, organized, and declaring that politicians who enabled mass migration are now legitimate targets. They call themselves the New Republican Movement, and their emergence comes after months of violent clashes between Irish citizens and police outside migrant hotels. Garda vans burned, water cannons deployed, thousands in the streets. This is not a protest anymore. This is a nation on the edge. And the ruling class that created this chaos has no idea what's coming next. Now, here's what's at stake. For years, Ireland's political elite opened the borders in lockstep with Brussels. Towns across the country watched crime surge and cultural cohesion evaporate. Citizens who objected were labeled far-right extremists. Then came the breaking points. In October, up to 2,000 people gathered outside the Citywest Hotel in Dublin after an asylum seeker was charged with assaulting a 10-year-old girl. The suspect had already been issued a deportation order months earlier, but he was still in the country. Riots erupted. Garda deployed water cannons and pepper spray. Horse-drawn carts charged police lines. In June, Ballymena in Northern Ireland exploded after 2 Romanian teenagers were charged with sexual assault. Over 100 police officers were injured across 2 weeks of unrest. And now a new group has emerged, reading declarations on video warning that action will be required. Not merely words, but decisive, principled action. The establishment sees it coming, and they are terrified. And some breaking news on the financial front. As global instability spreads, smart investors are looking beyond traditional markets. Over the past year, you may have seen the news about gold and silver, but maybe you're looking for something with even more upside. The search will take you straight to Nevada. AmeriCorps Resources, trading as AMCOF in the United States and AMCO in Canada, is positioning itself at the center of Nevada's modern silver resurgence. Now, they've acquired the Trinity Silver Project from Newmont, and Newmont actually became a shareholder in that deal. When a nearly $100 billion mining giant takes a stake, that is worth paying attention to. Now, Trinity is not speculation. It's a historic silver mine with over 5 million ounces already produced and historical data pointing to 28 million ounces still in the ground. The stock is still trading under 25 cents. Now, with silver hitting all-time highs, you might want to take a look at the link in the description. We thank them for supporting this program. But here's where the story gets even more explosive. Independent journalists in Ireland are pointing out something strange, that the New Republican Movement footage looks eerily similar to a clip authorities circulated earlier this year, claiming to show a far-right plot on an attack on a mosque. Many now suspect that earlier video was a state-engineered operation designed to discredit rising nationalist sentiment. Meanwhile, Sinn Féin just raised the Palestinian flag above Belfast City Hall. One commenter called it sickening, saying that one of the 4 corners of the UK is now draped in a terrorist flag. For Irish citizens already furious over migration and crime, it was another slap in the face. Glenn Beck even issuing a warning. What is happening in Europe will come to America. But it doesn't have to be this way. However, this will not end well. Now, everyone's talking about this. You can see it on your screen here. This has been circulating for some time. And sadly, people, apparently they've had enough. They've had enough of the open borders. I know we have here in the United States, but you got to think about what's the size of Ireland. And when you have a nation the size of Ireland flooded with migrants, there's a culture shock that occurs immediately. And then when you're declared a racist, if you raise your voice and you don't have free speech, well, then people don't have the pressure release valve. And this is exactly what happens when people have had enough. In Ireland, the new group called the Republican Movement has claimed that local representatives are legitimate targets. Mass immigration and indoctrination of children in schools are cited as reason for these legitimate targets. Now, we're playing this for you in the interest of the news cycle, in the interest of awareness, and to provide context for what is happening in Ireland at the moment.
As of today, to the people of Newry, Mourne and Down, we, the New Republican Movement, have watched their councillors and MLAs over the past 12 months The level of disrespect shown to the people who put you into power, this cannot be ignored any longer. We are proud men of Ireland. We are patriots. Your policies and decision-making in regards to flooding our communities with undocumented military-aged men is not acceptable. We will not sit back any longer and watch our culture and religion destroyed by the people we put in power. Also, the sexual indoctrination of our children in schools has not went unnoticed either. The New Republican movement will take immediate action against anyone who threatens our ways of life and the safety of our women and children. We have your addresses and known your movements. Every one of you are legitimate targets as of today. The New Republican movement, the 28th of 11/25.
They're putting all of the individuals that they feel open up the borders and push these people to the brink are now on notice. The top post X is boosting to millions of people about the anti-immigrant New Republican movement in Ireland, coming from accounts based in the US, UK, and Canada. They're calling this some kind of boosted campaign, artificially being boosted. I think there's just great interest in this. You can see some of the posts that are circulating regarding this. Here we have this 24 hours ago. The statue of Jesus Christ in a church in Ireland was destroyed by Muslims. That's what's alleged here. You can see it on your screen. And continuing here, this is from November 15th. Shares a similar visual. A video has surfaced that's remarkably similar to what's being described in the media as a far-right organization that was planning an attack on a mosque, standing in front of an Irish tricolor, making statements such as action will be required. Let's see here.
We are all citizens of Ireland. We address you tonight with a heavy heart, but with a firm resolve. We are the Irish Citizen Army, also known as the ICA, formed as of the 7th of June 2025. We created the rebirth of the ICA of 1913. We are all citizens, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters, driven to finally take action on the intolerable corruption which is forced on us by the Irish and British governments. We also believe that the British government has no right in Ireland, has never had any right in Ireland, and never can have any right in Ireland. We represent all of Ireland's 32 counties. We refuse to witness the suffering of our citizens. Our Irish citizens refuse to be treated as second-class citizens on their own island. We, the ICA, refuse to witness our heritage and culture being erased. We refuse to witness the suffering and killing of innocent Irish citizens. We, the ICA, will fight for Ireland. We, the ICA, will take the necessary steps to achieve our goals.
Clearly, visual similarity there. Let's take a look at what Glenn Beck had to say on the topic. He says, and so it begins. This is a sad day when the people feel so betrayed by their own leaders that they feel this is the only way to back to sanity. Please, America, wake up before it's too late. What is happening in Europe will come here. It does not have to be this way. Senator Babette, who's Senator Babette? Christ is King. It was only a matter of time, he writes. Frankly, I'm surprised it took this long. I fear the same will eventually happen here in Australia. With our current unsustainable levels of unchecked migration and the steady flooding of our country with cultures fundamentally incompatible with our own, we are drifting towards civil unrest or worse. We need to reverse course while we still can. Migration must be limited to countries that share our values, and we must abandon the failed experiment of multiculturalism. A cohesive nation is built through assimilation, not segregation. If we want stability, unity, and a future that actually works, then we must put the Australian nation, culture, and people first. Palestinian flag raised above Belfast City Hall after a proposal by Sinn Féin. Basil the Great calling it an absolute disgrace. Here's the video. Palestinian flag being raised in Belfast above the City Hall. Well, why? It doesn't make sense. It's a captured nation. It's a captured state. You don't raise a foreign flag over your city hall unless you have been captured by it. And that's why people are so fed up and frustrated that they are now resorting to actions like you see in these videos. The new Republican movement of Ireland put a warning to anyone trying to harm the lives of the Irish and who compromise the safety of women and children. They say it's time to stand with these animals, stand up to these animals taking over our towns and cities. Tommy Robinson says a new Republican movement has sprung up, armed with a new mission to protect the nation from the migrant invasion taking on the traitors in power. And, of course, we have this. This looks like Zelensky. Ukrainians and Irish spent centuries fighting for the right to remain themselves. Zelensky's PR tour stops in Dublin. Reminder, Ireland fought more than a dozen rebellions before Ukraine even existed.
Who spent our peoples, Ukrainian and Irish, are among the few in Europe who spent centuries fighting for the right to remain themselves.
Well, it certainly seems that there is a rebellion about to take place in Ireland. And we have this video here.
Norway. Ireland. Norway. Ireland. France. London. Germany. Somebody explained to me how the progressive governments of Europe, who claim to champion women's rights, are okay with importing millions of migrants from third world countries who come from cultures that are okay with sexually assaulting, raping, murdering, beating, anything unimaginable to women. You actually don't need to explain it to me because I understand the phenomenon. The reality is that they're hypocrites who don't actually care about women. They only care about them when it comes to murdering their unborn children in the womb and putting white men in jail for rape allegations from 50 years ago. This is the same type of hypocrisy we see from American politicians who claim to champion women's rights but are okay with men entering their sports and destroying them or their restrooms and making them feel unsafe. I'm an American, so admittedly my knowledge of European politics is pretty limited. But if you're European watching this, there's one thing I can tell you for sure. It is very obvious your politicians care more about Muhammad than they care about your sister, they care about your mother, they care about your daughter, and they care about you. Norway.
And that's exactly why you're seeing this movement starting now in Ireland. So here's the bottom line. From Ireland to England to France to the Netherlands to Germany, ordinary citizens are saying enough. Working class, native-born, culturally rooted, they're watching their neighborhoods transform, their daughters assaulted, their heritage mocked, and their leaders do nothing but lecture them about tolerance. The New Republicans movement message is clear. We will stand up for our women and children, we will defend our towns and cities, and we will not be replaced. Now, this is no longer a fringe sentiment. This is a continent awakening. And the political elite who created this crisis have no idea how to stop it. The story matters because what happens in Europe never stays in Europe. The same forces pushing open borders in Dublin are pushing them in Washington. The same media calling Irish patriots far-right extremists call American patriots the same thing. It's the same playbook, the same lies, the same betrayal. Ireland is showing what happens when the government imports chaos and then criminalizes citizens who object. But the people don't forget. What do? They end up organizing, they resist, and eventually they fight back. Now, whether you agree with their methods or not, the cause is undeniable. Nations have the right to exist, and cultures have the right to survive, and citizens have the right to safety. That's not extremism, it's common sense. So here's my question for you. Is what's happening in Ireland a warning sign for America, as Glenn Beck suggests? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments, and gear up at the next news merch shop. You'll find the link in the description.